Afternoon, folks. Welcome to the session. So who we got? We've got a Karen. We have got Annie Proctor. We've got Jill Jones. We've got Jane Staples. We've got Julie Muspratt. Hey, Julie. We've got Angela, maybe. We've got Vic, I think, or Vic. Vic, I think I'm going to go for Vic. Pop off mute and tell me how I pronounce that. I don't mind. It's fine. And we got Munim. Welcome to the call, Munim. So, anyone want to pop off mute and say hello? It's always nice to hear some voices. Pop your cameras on if you want to. Well done, Jane. You win first prize for coming first. Pop your cameras on, folks, if you don't mind, because you know what? Because when I'm talking to you, right, I get to see. You don't have to, of course, but I get to see you. I can see when you think that something's rubbish. I can see your faces. I can see you nodding if you like something. It's super helpful. But if you don't want to, that's cool. I appreciate it is lunchtime as well. Who just popped in? We've got Paul Ledger. Hey, Paul, welcome to the call. We've got Christy Burns and Amanda White. And just popping in there, we've got Andrew. So, folks, feel free to pop your cameras on. It's always helpful to be able to say hello. Also, if you've got a background as well, it gives me an idea where you're from. So, we've got Jane from Staffordshire County Council, just up the road from me. I used to have cause to come off the M6 at Junction 15. That's Staffordshire, isn't it, Jane? I was 18 at the time. I was in police training down at Ryton in Coventry, and on my evenings I had cause to drive up to there, and it was quite a drive from Coventry. But that 14 to 15 seems to take forever, Jane. Maybe your council could work on that. It's too far. Who else we got? So we've got Vicky May. We've got Vicky May. I think we said hello to Andrew. We've got Ali Smith. Let's have a look. So we've got Fiona Addison, we've got Stuart Hunter. There's more coming in. We've got Leanne, and we've got Mandy and Jake McNaughton. So, folks, feel free to. So we've got Fiona saying hello. Folks, say hello in the chat. If you don't want to pop off mute and say hello, you don't want to put your camera on, always nice to say hello in the chat. We've got Vicky saying hello. We've got Jill eating lunch from sunny Sussex. Funny day here in Solihull, folks. It's thinking about. It was a bit chilly this morning. It's thinking about the heat's thinking about coming back, but we'll see, folks. One more minute, then we'll get started. So Karen's 9 p.m. 9 p.m. in Australia in their PJs with a cup of tea. That sounds nice. What's the temperature like, Karen, over in Australia at 9 p.m? I'd like to. You get a lot of love for that comment, by the way. Karen, it's always nice to share. We've got Jake saying hello, we've got Vitch saying hello, Annie as well. Afternoon, or at least just put afternoon. You're right. We've got Christy saying hello for the USA. Hey, Christy, USA is a big place. Christy, maybe pop a look. Moyne, where are you? What time of day is it, and what is the weather like? I'm from the UK. I'm obsessed with the weather. I can't help it. So let's see who else we've got. Let's pop over to the other page. So we've got Richard Smith's coming over there. We've got Susan Wright. We said hello to. No, we've got Elaine Morgan. We've got Danny O'Keefe. Folks. So we've got Christy Burns. She's got Michigan with a sunny 76. Folks, can someone turn that into new money for me? I know that's what you do Fahrenheit over there, Christy. In the chat, what's that in British pounds? So we've got Susan saying hello from Nottinghamshire County Council. Not too far from me. I'm in Solihull. Cloudy but warmish. I agree, folks. We better do some work. Okay, should we go? Okay, welcome to July's Evergreen updates.
Yes, please.
Yeah, I agree. Who was that? It's about that time, isn't it?
Oh, sorry. I'm really apologize. My husband has just shouted, would you like some cheese on toast?
Oh, that was beautiful.
Yes, please.
Oh, Susan, that was beautiful timing, because I just said, should we do some work? And you went, yes, please. Well, we've done the weather. Let's go do some work. Susan's getting her toast delivered. I think that's beautiful. Oh, that was beautiful timing, Susan. Well done.
Sorry.
Well done, husband.
Yeah, you don't want to hear me eating cheese on toast, definitely.
Right, folks. Right. So that was a lovely start. Let's get started. Let's see what's going on in July. So for those of you who haven't been on one of these sessions before, let's talk about house rules. When we talk about these updates, we have the update name, we have some key points, we have the current release date. You need to take that with a pinch of salt, though, folks, because they do slide. Have some supporting screenshots. The technical level here is end users. super users, champions, team owners, sort of people who are engaged, and you might, maybe you'll share this with your colleagues as well. I've got some suggestions as we go along. It can't be a deep dive. We have about 2 minutes per slide, folks. We don't have time to go into deep dive for each thing, and also I don't expect you to remember everything as well. There's too much to remember. Maybe you just make a mental note of what matters to you and your colleagues, or maybe write it down, and then you can just follow that up, a quick Google search, and you'll be able to find out all about it. And then join in by sharing what you think. So, folks, those of you who are new, welcome to this session. I'm Mark Thompson, and we are the Inform team, and we are going to be covering Copilot, OneDrive, Outlook, SharePoint, Teams, and we're going to be looking at updates from around Microsoft 365 and checking the chat. And I don't see any reason why not to. So let's go. Let's start with Copilot. First one, the Visual Creator Agent will no longer be pre-installed. This is the one here, Visual Creator. I noticed that this morning that was gone for me. I was able to re-add it, but I did notice that it was gone. So that's going away. Manually add it if you want to, but honestly, folks, let's have a look at what I'm about to show you. I don't think that you really want to. So your previous interactions will still be available under conversations where you might expect to find them. And you should use, Microsoft recommends you use the Create experience instead. And I think you should, folks. Look at this. This is the Create experience. So let's look over at the left-hand side. And we can see here, we've got the Create app. And then across the top, we've got the option to create. It kind of leads, it's much more leading than it used to be. It's less reliant on you knowing how to prompt. Create images, design a poster, create a video. Folks, if you want to test how far Copilot has come, get yourself a nice presentation of some sort, and then select create a video, and then feed it your presentation. You'll be astounded. You can choose the voice, the tone, also you'll be amazed how far Copilot has come. Anyway, designing banners. How about banners for inside Teams? Make sure they're the right size. It's a really, really nice app. So go and check that out, folks. The Create over on the left-hand side there. June, mid-July. So just today, I did notice that I didn't have Visual Creator, but for some time we've had Create, and that's a really nice upgrade, I think. Okay, very quickly in the chat, or give me a thumbs up. Has anybody used Researcher yet in Copilot? Just a thumbs up. We get a thumbs up from Vicky. We get a thumbs up from Andrew. Folks, I'll be interested in the chat to see what you think about it. And if you haven't, put that in as well. So I did a session earlier in the week on Researcher. And we're inside the Inform team, we're very keen to make sure that across the organization, everyone is really up on Copilot. So so the thing that we talk about and we help with, we know it really well before we try to pass that on. So we have these sessions twice a week. I had to start the Researcher at the beginning of the session because it hadn't finished its work for 20 minutes, maybe 18 minutes, something like that. It's an incredible tool. So you go to Researcher, tell it what you want, it double checks what you're asking, and then you can fine tune what you're going to ask it to research. And then you can watch it having all these conversations with itself, and then it goes into a massive report. It's just a fabulous tool. Anyway, this Researcher is coming to the Copilot prompt box. So they're definitely pushing that forward a little bit. You're going to see that in Teams, Outlook, and Copilot chat. So piece of homework for you. If you've never used Researcher, go and check it out. It's a great addition to Copilot. And I think it's a big part of that moving away from you having to know how to prompt to it serving stuff up for you. Folks, June, mid-July, I checked earlier. I didn't have it inside the chat yet, but I do have it over on the left-hand side. It's been there for some time. Go check it out. Okay. The Copilot prompts app is to be retired. Okay, so you might have seen this banner saying on the 15th of July. I checked this morning, I still have it. Anyway, it's being retired. So make sure you're aware of this. If the prompts app has been part of your rollout of Copilot, you need to make sure your users are aware of what's on this slide. Okay, so it currently appears in the Copilot app and in Teams. You can see here, no new installs, and access is going to stop any day now. Now, to continue, so the prompts app gave you access to the prompt gallery, didn't it? And they now suggest that you access it in these ways. You can see on the screen here. I can click on see more, and I can access it that way. Inside apps, I click on the little plus sign, and I've got the option there to view prompts, and I can access it that way. Or you can just go directly to prompts inside the browser using the URL that you used before. Now, at first glance, this doesn't make any sense, does it? You're like, for as long as we had Copilot. Well, maybe not as long, maybe 9 months or so, maybe just under a year. We've had the access to the Prompts app, and it's a great app. But what you find is that you access the app and you get your prompt, but you're not in the right place to use it, are you? You're in this app. So now think about what I've just shown you here. So the inside chat, inside the apps. So definitely those top two, where you recall your prompts, it's in the right place. So you could select it and it's in the right place, ready to use. So I think it does kind of make more sense. I wasn't sure at first, but I do think it's a good move. Folks, that should have happened by now. And if it hasn't happened for you yet, that will happen any day now. So I'm just going to take a second and just pop and look at that other screen. And I'm just going to pop one of you folk onto mute because your microphone is super sensitive. And there you go. Okay, let's get back to this. Bit strange at first, but actually I do think that is a pretty good update. Just a quickie. Copilot now in PowerPoint will now let you create a presentation based on an Excel spreadsheet. It might be that you work in data and you look at this and you need to go and speak to the boss. You need to present it all. Actually, you can now reference Excel spreadsheets. You couldn't before, but you can now. It needs to be stored in OneDrive or SharePoint, as you might expect, but go and check that out. If you haven't tried that before and that is something that might work for you, go and check it out. Okay, this has arrived a little bit early and I love it. Scheduled prompts coming to M365 Copilot. They did arrive early. So look at this. So to get access to this little bar here, you need to commit your prompt. You have your prompt, you send it off, it does its thing, then you can scroll back up and you get some options. Now, you can go and schedule that prompt, and then when you go into it, you can tell it what day and time and recurrence you want it to do. And then you fire that off. And then once it goes off, you're like, well, I don't even know where it's gone. So you go to Copilot, click on the three little dots up here, and then you can select your scheduled prompts. Now, let's say that, Angela, maybe you don't work on Mondays. So your first working day is Tuesday, and you want Copilot to let you know what you've missed on a certain topic. So you can get this prompt already, and then you can schedule it. And you want it to maybe fire off on Tuesday mornings. Let me just show you where this will appear. Now, I've actually looked at mine today, but if you go here, see this, I'm in Copilot, I'm in the Copilot app. Over on the left-hand side, we have conversations. When one of these is run and there's a result for you, there'll be a little red dot, okay? And then there'll be a green tick next to one of these chats that's been automatically created. You can go in there and you can read it. It's just sitting there waiting for you. You can see there that I've had 2 run, the summary of updates and a summary of updates. And actually, you could, if there's certain things that you need to be aware of, keep on top of, you can have these scheduled. It might be that that morning on Wednesday mornings you work on the XYZ project. You know what? Why don't you get this to go off, do all these checks, find all this stuff out for you, so that on Tuesday morning or Wednesday morning it's sitting there waiting for you. I really, really like scheduled prompts. A little bit out of mind, but definitely worth you checking out and sharing with your people. So we talked about Researcher. So Researcher is being added to Copilot notebooks. So I've sort of glossed over notebooks a little bit up until very recently. In a minute, I'll tell you why I'm about to start paying a lot more attention to them. But if you do use notebooks, then you're going to be able to add use that Researcher functionality that's in there. Now, why does this matter? Because when you use Researcher in chat, you get all this research, you've got this great big report, but then what do you do with it? You then push it to Pages, and then you can have that inside notebooks, or you push it to a Word document. But similar to that what I was talking about prompts earlier, if you create it inside the notebook where you want the information and your colleagues are going to look at and you're going to share, you may as well have it in the place where it's going to be used, which I think is great that Researcher is coming to notebooks. Okay. Another example of things being created where you're going to use them, the ability to create images inside chat. So I was on a call yesterday, and what would have been great was the ability inside that call to create a picture of pigeons. And I'm not going to say why, but it's just I literally just yesterday I wanted to be able to create an image inside this chat that we're having in Teams. Now this hasn't come everywhere yet, but the ability to create images inside an app is coming. So this is a screenshot that I took from what I created inside Word. So it just means that the things that you're creating where you're going to actually use them. So you can see there that I just need to click insert, and then it will go into the document or the thing that I am working on. So should be here across M365 apps by late July. That's quite nice. Okay, I'm going to pause for a minute, but for those of you who don't know, this icon here tells you that this is a little bit further out. It's come from the M365 roadmap. So you need to take the details with a little bit of a pinch of salt. The details are a little bit scarce, and the date is definitely not to don't take too much notice of the date. So talking about notebooks. So this is something coming to notebooks. So the ability to create a briefing page based on your Copilot notebook. So maybe you've used Researcher in there. You've been putting all your research, all the things you've been working on. You've got loads of stuff in there, but you want to create something of it. So you've done all this research on the XYZ topic. And it might be that Andrew Reynolds this afternoon, you need to present this briefing to the team. How about instead of you bringing it all together, you can create a page from all the content inside your notebook. Okay, so it might be that Andrew, you're going to go and do this, and you're like, just want to make sure that I'm super equipped. You could turn it into an FAQ page, and as well as that being useful to share out, it's useful to you. I like being able to create FAQ pages from stuff because it often has the questions that other people are going to ask you when you're presenting. So I think that's a really good tool. So good stuff coming to Copilot notebooks. Go and check them out if you haven't used them already. And also, folks, if you're not already, keep an eye on the chat. There's some good stuff coming in the chat, and people are commenting on what they think of these updates. Okay, I'm just checking the chat. Maybe you could help me out, Vicky. Vicky, anything in the chat for us to be aware of before we move along?
There's bits from me, to be honest, just around research and what I've used it for. So I have a customer, it's from the public sector, and asked researcher to help me with an engagement strategy, find case studies of what's worked well for other customers, all Copilot related, but it did an amazing job. So
yeah, definitely worth you checking out, folks. Next time you need to properly learn about something, but don't do it if you're in a hurry. Honestly, this half an hour session that I did, I know you weren't there on that previous one, Vicky. That so right at the start, I set off this when you're demoing this to your team. Let's say you're going to show your team. So I would recommend that you say, we're going to cover a researcher in this, let's say this community call. But first of all, why don't we set up a prompt? And we'll keep dropping it a bit. And then you explain what researcher is. When you get to a natural point, you say, let's go back and have a look at research and see how it's getting on. And you can see it talking to itself and what it's doing. And then you talk about it some more. And then you say, let's go back and check out how research is doing, and it's doing some more. And when it's finally finished, you see the report and you go to click it, and it takes so long for it to, you can see the report coming out. And it's really interesting to look at the process, but don't try and do that in a hurry. Okay. So Susan's asking, try in researcher, can you download the results for viewing at a later point? So when you look at it, Susan, when the results are at the bottom, you'll see like a little leafy icon that lets you push it into pages. So maybe click on that, it'll push it into pages. And then at the top right hand side up in there, you'll see the option to push it into Microsoft Word. So go and have a look at either of those options, Susan. Okay, which is why I like the idea of the notebook, being able to create it inside the notebook, because that might be where you want it in the first place, and think about the other places where that's going to surface as well. First, let's see what's going on over in OneDrive. So you might have come to a previous session and you've seen the long version of all of these. We're going to just very quickly talk about a couple of delays. So this clock icon here, this suggests that this feature has been delayed by a period of time. And this one, the ability to go into your OneDrive, and then we look at an Office app. So in this case, a PowerPoint, click on the three dots, say we'd like to export as PDF, and it will create it as a PDF inside that location. So maybe it's maybe a super big presentation. It's too big to email, but also you don't want people to be able to mess with it, and you want it small. You want it to be so they can't edit it. And that's a really good option to create a small version that people can't edit, and then is nice and easy to email. What else do we have? So table of contents, it might be that you've got a document inside Word that's already got a table of contents, and you look at it, so a PDF, and it's got a table of contents, and you click on something on a table of contents, and you jump down, and then you want to find the next topic to read, you need to go back up to the top. Anyway, this new icon here means that it's going to create and show that table of contents that has to be already built into the document. It's going to show it on the left-hand side, which means that you can easily move around inside your documents. How about PDFs in SharePoint and OneDrive, been able to put a watermark. So you can see on here, there's some settings in here. I've clicked on watermark at the top, and I've put my text in, I've done my angle, how the level of transparency, and I put that on there. What pages do I want it on? And you can also upload an image to that as well. That's been pushed back a little bit, but should be available any day now, actually. Okay. Copilot overviews for Word and PDFs inside your OneDrive. I already have this, and you may have as well, but it's just got a little bit delayed. If you haven't tried this, folks, I think I've demoed it previously. I'm not going to demo it now because it takes a little while to fire up. But maybe that Amanda White, it's think about the time of day now. There's something that you need to read, and you're going to do yourself a little bit of lunch. You can just fire off this, tell it to create an audio overview. Choose a couple of settings, and it can read this out, but not just read it out, almost like do it really conversationally. And you can have two people doing it if that's a better way for you to learn. So go and check that out if you haven't used that already. So quick month for OneDrive, and because we are 2.5 minutes behind, I'm going to go straight into Outlook. The ability to create a meeting from an email thread with Copilot on Outlook Mobile. So that's catchy, isn't it? So I'm just looking at the list of names on here now. I know that Emma works mobile a lot, so this might be great for Emma. So you've got this email chain, and you're working together, and you're chatting to Jane and Jill and Susan and Karen, Emma. And you're looking at your phone, and you're like, okay, so I think we need to have a meeting about this. And then you're on your phone, and what you could do is you can create a meeting from that thread, and it will create the title, the agenda, and attach and get the whole thread all together for you. Let's have a look at the workflow from this, and also the people who are in that email thread will be invited. So on the left-hand side here, what do we have? So we've got these emails here, and Emma's like, we really need to have a chat about this. So Emma can then go down to the bottom, click on the three little dots, scheduled Copilot. Let's go along. Look at this, it's now creating the event. It's now suggesting we call it this. Here's a description of the meeting. Here's the agenda. And over on the right-hand side here, you can see it's all set up. Now you can see here that there's a little tick for the time. I don't know, I haven't used it yet, and I don't know the extent to which it checks for a time that everyone is available. I'm hoping that it does that little bit of work for you, but that icon there suggests to me that it might. But being super honest, I don't know that it does. But anyway, think about that as a time saver. I think that looks really great, and you can expect that anytime now until late August. Okay. I saw this maybe a week ago for the first time, and I think this is an opportunity for you to revisit something with your communities, or to revisit it yourself if you're not sure about what I'm saying here. So in classic Outlook, assuming that you have the Teams meeting add-in, which a lot of organizations do, you're going to start seeing this pane on the right-hand side. So this is for the meeting options. Now, of course, we could. Looks a little bit out of sight, isn't it? It's down here, so we could always go in that way. But this pane will open up, and it will show the meeting options. And you can see on the right-hand side, it suggests, do you want to record and transcribe automatically? Who can present? Have your co-organizers in there? So I think this is a great opportunity, especially as it's rolling out now, maybe to revisit this with your communities and just make sure everyone knows what the options are in meeting options and what each of those can do, because they're going to get surfaced for everybody as they create a Teams meeting inside Outlook. And actually, with just that little bit of education, I think we'll all have slightly better meetings because they'll be set up just a little bit better, but based on what you're creating. Folks, any day now for that one. Okay, I like this. I was checking this morning to see whether we have it. I don't have it yet, but I'm looking forward to it. How about Copilot in Outlook Mobile, just helping you prioritize your emails a little bit? So you need to go into your settings, and you can see settings, Outlook settings, Copilot. I don't have this prioritize option yet. I just have the Copilot option. While you're there though, folks, go and have a look at a setting in there, because if you go to settings and Copilot on your phone, there's a little section where you can tell it how you like to respond to emails. So if it's helping you, you can set your rules, just a one-off set of rules in there, how your tone of voice, do you want it to be professional, short or long? So just while you're in there, go and check that setting as well. Anyway, let's get back to this. So I'm looking at my emails. I'm going to click on the Copilot Sparkle there, and I see this screen in the middle. I can then go between high priority or emails that need replies, so it knows I haven't replied to stuff yet or stuff that looks important based on what you do. Now, there's another 2 little sections there, aren't there? I don't know what those other 2 are, if I'm honest, but I'm looking forward to this. I think it'll just maybe, I don't know, maybe Amanda's just catching up. Have a look at the priority stuff first, what needs to be replied to, and I think it'll just help you just get a jump start on your emails. And due from sometime last month, but it's got quite a slow rollout. That slow rollout might be because if your organization is managing your device, of course, we've got a much slower rollout for that. So that kind of makes sense. Okay. Why don't we see what else we've got? So quick ones here. So text prediction is going to be turned off by default across Outlook, except for Outlook Classic. So I'm talking about new web on your mobile. So it can be turned off by default because apparently it caused more trouble than it's worth. But you can turn it back on if you want to. Offline support for the calendar in new Outlook. This is one of those things where you think, they told us like a year ago that new Outlook was ready for the workplace, and only now do we have offline support for the calendar. But let's just be grateful that it is getting there. Okay, so a little bit of a delay here. The ability to set custom account descriptions in new Outlook. So it might be that for whatever reason you've got more than one account, you'll be able to go into new Outlook or Outlook Online, go into the settings, and give your accounts names that make a bit more sense to you. Whew, maybe. So when it's prioritized Outlook, so that is for, so that's a good question, Derek, because that's for mobile, and I can't, off the top of my head, I don't know new Outlook. If anyone does, if anyone can answer Derek's question, we're a group, and I don't need to be the only person talking, so I don't mind if someone says, oh, actually, Mark didn't know this, it's this date, then that'd be great. But honestly, Derek, I only know of it, I only know about that one, that priority one. But actually, thinking about it, I think that they prioritize my slightly different feature. That might be what you're asking, Derek. That might be what you're asking about. They prioritize your inbox based on your rules. I don't know the date off the top of my head. I'll drop it into the chat or follow up. If anyone knows that date, you can go and have a look. Oh, there we go. Lovely work, Emma. Great. Okay, we've got to the end. Thank you, Emma. Right, folks, let's move along and see where we are. So, just a very quick one here, because there's not a lot to say about this. This is for the page editors. A couple of changes coming. The command, so if you're looking at a SharePoint site on the internet, go into view mode, you just lose that bar at the top. That's quite nice. But this is for the editors. That said, a lot of us do SharePoint work in our organizations, and we've got brand guidelines, so we only get a certain amount of freedom. So I'm not going to spend too long on this, but look at this, these options for the header, the footer, and the navigation links. Go and have a look at them, and you can change those if that's appropriate for your organization. Due in August, but we're going to skip on from that because a lot of people can't use it because of their organization's brand guidelines. You can use this though. So an organization I work with have already seen this and they love it. So it may be that you look after news posts in SharePoint. You're going to get this option at the top in the header. So remember, I don't know, a year ago or so, the header in SharePoint pages just became like a regular web part with a lot more functionality. And one of those new pieces of functionality is the estimated read time. So your audience can at a glance see whether they've got time for it. It might help with people, like the retention on the page, so people don't get halfway down and abandon it. So tell people up front how long it will take to read that page. Focus mid to late June, and a lot of people have seen that already. So that should be already out for you. This looks quite nice, delayed, but it looks great. So the SharePoint web part for FAQs, which is powered by Copilot. So maybe Fiona, you're creating a page about the XYZ project, and you've got this great big document. It's got all the information in there. You can create an FAQ from that document and then push it onto your SharePoint page. What's great about it is that only the creator needs a Copilot license, not people who are going to read it. So if you create SharePoint pages and you've got a Copilot license, go and check that out because I think that's going to be quite useful. Okay. Also sticking with page owners, click through analytics. I might tell you more about this next month. As you can see from the telescope, it's a bit further out. I don't believe that July date, if I'm honest, but it'll just tell you on your page, the links on your page, the rates that people are clicking. I think that'd be a great stat. I'll be interested to see whether that's hidden behind a premium license though, but maybe I'll tell you about that next month when I know. Folks, I'm just checking the chat. Vicky, anything in the chat for me to be aware of while I just have a quick sip of water before we go into a really exciting Teams section?
No, nothing new, Mark. Emma answered to prioritise my inbox, and nothing new since.
Lovely. Okie dokie, folks. If you have got a question, folks, put it in the chat. I might not know the answer off the top of my head, and that's fine. But someone will help you out. So pop a question in the chat if you have to. So Emma's going. So Vicky, you're on chat response duty.
That's fine.
Okay. Usability and privacy improvements for live captions. I really like live captions, folks. I think I said to you last time, somebody Copilot training that I've been on recently from Microsoft, one of them was 6 hours long. Another set of them were 4 hours, 4 hours, 4 hours, like 3 days in a row, and I had a couple of those. And I find the captions help me focus because I end up drifting off, and I don't know. Then 5 minutes later, I have no idea what they said. So I really like the captions. Anyway, so these live captions are scrollable, but actually, look down here. So this was fairly new, the ability to pop the live captions out. So next time you're struggling to focus on a meeting, maybe even this one, if it's, I don't know, if it's 9:30 in Australia and you're sipping your tea, pop on the live captions, pop them out, and it works really well. So also, you can't copy them, disabled by default. And if you're not recording a meeting, it's quite right and proper that people can't record it by copy and pasting the captions. So that does make sense to me. Live transcripts. So when I start a meeting and then I start recording, the transcript used to appear on the right hand side, didn't it? And it would take me away from, say, the chat or the people who I'm trying to keep an eye on, so I can talk to people as I join. I don't need the transcript. I need that later. That's what it's for. But it kept opening. Anyway, they've turned that off, which I think is a small but good update. Also, when attendees go to look at the live the live transcript that's been created, it's going to say, actually, do you need to go and look at the captions? Is that what you meant? Because people get those two mixed up a lot. So it's just, I think it might just be a slightly nicer experience for people coming to your meetings. Anyway, folks, any day now, if it's not already in, but should be here by late July. I'm going to slow down a little bit because I think this is quite a big change. The ability to save chats and channel messages for later. So what have I got? So I'm looking at this chat here, click on the 3 little dots, and I say I would like to save this message. And then when I come into, say, in this case, my chat, I've got this section here called saved. And on the right hand side, I can click on these, and these things that I can go back and I can go read and get caught up with them. So it might be that Andrew, you've had a couple of weeks on leave, and you come back in, and you're just whizzing through your messages in chat and on things on the channels that you follow, and you're trying to find out what's on fire that needs answering right now, but stuff that you might want to go back to later and not forget about. So I think that's great. So we had something similar in Teams version 1, didn't we? And we go up to our profile and we could find our saved messages up there, but it's back. And I think that's quite a nice, I think this is great. I'm really glad this is back. Folks, in August to September for that one, I think that's worth telling your people about because I think that's going to be super useful. Okay, so a little bit niche, so I'm going to fly past this. The ability to, it's a new file attachment option for in Teams chats for external people. Okay, so it just means that you've got the option to attach a file to a chat when you're talking to externals off by default. So this is a super niche. A lot of organizations won't want you doing this, but be aware that it's available. But your organization will have to turn it on, and it makes it really clear that something is from external if it's coming the other way. Not going to spend any more time on that. That is an option if you need to speak to your IT department of that and see whether that's of interest to you, but available by the end of the month. Okay. So Gary's asking, does saving a Teams chat bypass the organization's retention policy? So Gary, I'm going to say no, because I'm just trying to think. So I know, right, so 2 parts to this answer. Generally speaking, those sorts of features don't override the organization retention policies. And I'm trying to think, it might even explicitly be called out on that update. But so common sense answer would be no, Gary, based on all the updates that I read behind the scenes. But I think it explicitly gets called out, Gary. But it might be worth you just having just quickly looking that up. I can't imagine it would, because every organization I know would just turn it off if they could. Okay, love this. Teams is getting a countdown timer for meetings. So this has happened to all of us, right? So we're at work and there's a big update, monthly update from across the department, across the area, and we've got all these different speakers, and you think, okay, so you got about 6 minutes, you got 8 minutes, and then someone goes on, and then especially if you're a speaker further down the line, it's frustrating because you know that your section is getting compressed. Well, how about we keep those people on track? So I've clicked on the 3 little dots in here, and this is available to me now, so it may be for you as well. Click on the 3 little dots, and I've clicked the timer option, so I can set this timer. So this is the box that appears, and that gets hidden as soon as you click away from it, by the way, so it's not in the way. It's visible to everybody. You can start, pause it, stop it, reset it, or cancel. And what people see, folks, is that, see this across the top here, the timer, and then this bar moves across. As it gets towards the end, it turns red as it gets to the end. Visual and audio alerts. So you get a ping when you're out of time, and you can see on the screen there, it's just changed. As I've clicked it, it's changed to time's up. So it tells you that your time up, but it continues to go into negative. Look over the left-hand side there. It starts counting down and going to a negative. So it tells the person how long they've gone over for. Folks, I can't wait to try this out on big, long meetings. I don't know about you. I just want to look at the chat. Anyone want to give this a thumbs up if you think it's of interest to you? Would it bring any order to some of your big, longer meetings? Just having a look. I think it's going to be very good. So you've got hands up there from Andrew, and I think it's going to be really useful. I can't wait. Yeah. So Jill saying useful for multiple project meeting updates. Yeah, I think this is going to be great. And actually a bit of fun because I'll be like, Mark, you've gone over now. It's time to stop. Anyway, why don't we see what else we've got? Really interested to see what you think of this update. So I've presented this now to a few groups of people in a large government organization, and people are really split. They're really split on whether they think this is going to bring order to your channel conversations or it's going to bring chaos. Okay, so the ability to reply in a thread will open up this sidebar here. So it might be that they want to call and Stuart put something put something in the channel about the I don't know, that feature doesn't work on my Apple device. And I think, oh, I'm interested in what works in Apple devices. So I reply I want to reply just to Stuart, just to Stuart's response, not just to him, but just his comments so other people can see it. But I'm quite clearly branching off and talking about this other thing. That is coming. So I have the ability to do that. I've got this option here to look at my followed threads. Now, interestingly, I don't have the option to turn this feature on, but this place here has now appeared in my Teams, this followed threads, and there's other chats that I'm engaged with. They appear in there, and I can unfollow them. But it's almost like they're getting the infrastructure set up, so that's there for me now. But I can't turn this feature on yet. So talk about turning it on. It might be that Stuart's thinking, "There's no way that I'm letting my team have this until we've done some training on it, because it's just going to be chaos." So the team owners can turn this on or off at the channel level. So right at the channel level. So depending on, maybe Stuart's thinking, oh, actually, generally speaking, I'm going to turn this off. But for the XYZ project, because of the nature of that project and the nature of the things that we talk about, that actually this would be helpful. So you've got that option as well. Folks, due mid to late August for the ability to turn that on and off, but you might already have a little bit of the structure that it needs once it is available. So the countdown timer is getting a bit of love in the chat. I totally agree. I can't wait for it. Okay, what else we got? So I'll tell you about this, but you can't turn this on. But I want you to be aware of it. This is for your organization, your admins behind the scenes to do. I appreciate they're busy enough and they might not appreciate me showing you this, but I think it's going to be super useful. So let's say that you work for a government department and they really like acronyms and abbreviations and all sorts. And actually, it's a little bit niche for your organization. You get the option here. So you can see that this admin here has gone into Copilot settings and a Copilot custom dictionary, and they're uploading a file with all the acronyms that your organization uses. So it'll help with transcript accuracy if you've got Copilot for your tenant specific terms. Okay, so must be done by an admin. I think we're done with this now. I'm not going to spend any more time on it, but I just want you to be aware that's available, and that should be available to you now. So it might be that you've struggled with this for a while. Go and speak to your IT team, and then you might be able to get this sorted out. Okay, I'm interested in the chat to see whether you'd have a use for this. I'm also interested to see what you think about it, because the thing that I'm going to describe now, you can bring into a chat you got with people. You can use it privately, but you can use it on the chat that you're in. So I think it's interesting, and it'll be interesting to see what the rules are in your organization around this, and should you disclose it. But there's a few interesting points here. I'd be interested to see whether you've got a use for this. So the ability to bring interactive agents into Teams meetings and one-to-one calls. So if this interface was a little bit more zoomed out, we'd have the plus sign here, wouldn't we? Okay, but if it's not there, you click on the three little dots, and then you can add an agent or app, and then you can add an agent to this conversation that we're having. You can see here that this person has added one that relates to projects and tasks, and then you can interact with your app that you want to use, your agent, sorry, based on what's happening inside your meeting in the context of that call. So it might just be, I don't know, it might be that Ali has got a list of tasks. You got an agent looks after your tasks for you, and you can maybe ask it, has anything in this call it's got anything to do with the tasks that I've got outstanding? And maybe you want to ask it inside the inside the context of that app, maybe something like that. But honestly, I'm struggling to give you a better example than that one that we've got on the screen now. But we'll see. Folks, you can use that now. I tested it before I came on the call. It's available. Go and have a look at it, and maybe the next session that we have, just tell us what you use it for. I think that's going to be like an emerging thing, but right now, we'll see. For me, it's up in the air how useful it's going to be. Okay, some quick ones for Teams. So the ability to add name pronunciation to your profile card in Teams and Outlook. Folks, has anybody got this? Because this needs to be turned on by your organization. Everyone I spoke to thinks it's an amazing idea, but I don't work anywhere that's actually turned it on yet. Folks, is anyone using this? Just a yes or no. If it's a no, give me a no, just so I know that you're still there. Annie, you don't have to, but I'm just curious. Is that you are? Has your organization turned it on? Annie's like, I clicked the wrong button.
No. Yeah, you're exactly right. Wrong button clicking.
I clicked the wrong
button.
Trying
to multitask.
Okay. You know what? That raise hand and react shouldn't be next door to each other, should they? Okay, so I'm getting
I know we've had it loads in a meeting I've been in this morning, and I'm ashamed I have done it as well, but there we go.
Annie, I do a lot of sessions with 40, 50, 60 people in every session, Annie. Those buttons need to be moved all day long. So I'm getting straight no's. So when I've talked about this previously, folks, every single person, especially like the UK government organisation that I work with, there's lots of people's names that the pronunciation of them doesn't come naturally to me, and I think it'd be great because I like to speak to people as they join. It'd be great to be able to click on this little icon and hear how they pronounce their name. So I've not seen it yet. Universally accepted as a good idea, but somehow just doesn't get any traction. But I'd be interested. Yeah, so it's in. I haven't put it on there, but it's in the. I don't know exactly where it's going to be. Who asked that? Martin. But yes, Elaine's right. It is in admin, and I think. There you go. Thank you very much, Vicky. Okay. So I apologise for this fuzzy screenshot, by the way. Even this is a good version of the one I started with. So meeting audio overviews for multiple meetings inside Teams. Now, it might be that Fiona Addison, you're just catching up with some meetings that you've missed. You need to multitask. Maybe, I don't know, you could go and grab yourself some lunch or do something else. Then you can come into, it's not obvious where this lives, by the way, it's in the Meet app. So inside the Meet app, you can come in and you can get these new tabs across the top. And one of them is audio overviews. You can see there that they try to be helpful. Catch up on meetings over this period of time. Do you want a single host or dual host? And what sort of style do you want? Select your meetings, click on generate, and it will tell you either one or two people talking about the meetings that you've missed and obviously based on a transcript. But rather than just read it out to you, it will talk about what people said, the decisions that are made, the outcomes, the tasks, all that sort of stuff. So I think that's going to be brilliant. Keeps getting delayed though, so it'll be interesting how it looks when it's here. You can imagine it's quite a big job to get this done. But folks, that lives in the Meet app. In fact, I'm going to call this out. If you haven't used the Meet app, go into Teams after this call and then do a quick search and find that Meet app. And you'll see your previous meetings. It has loads of really good stuff in there, actually, about the meetings you've got coming up, the meetings that you've had. So go and check that out. And it's just a little bit outside, out of mind, but really worth having a look. Okay. So this was on hold for a little bit. Now, I like to be able to see different things in different windows, and especially when I'm hosting like this, I like to see the chat. I want to be able to see my people that I'm talking to. It might be that I want Copilot somewhere else. Anyway, you can see here that we get the ability. I think this is my favorite one, the ability to pop out the chat. So we're having, so inside the meeting, you can pop the chat out. This little icon here, whenever you see that, it means you can pop that window out. So chat, Copilot, and your notes panes inside your meetings, and actually you'll see that across other places. So the on the rail on the left hand side at the moment, if you use the new calendar, you can pop that out in a new window. So I did that early before the session, so you can pop that out, but also the ability to pop out Teams itself, your Teams, your chat, your channels, all the things on the left hand side, everything is going to be able to pop it out, so you can have these different sections. I often share 365 updates. I do a search on the MC number to see if anyone's talking about it before I pop it into a channel, but that takes me away from the channel I want to put it in. If I could open the Teams, as in Teams in a separate window and have it just over there, that would be super useful for me. So I'm really looking forward to not just this, but the ability to pop out all of my main core apps in Teams as well. Okie dokie. I like the look at this. Have you ever been on a meeting when someone's speaking, a presenter, and they start glitching, and you're like, is that me or is it them? And you don't really want to ask in case it's only you and it's not them. Anyway, the ability to see the strength of people's network connection in a call is coming. So it's been pushed back quite a bit, actually, to October to November. But it just means that if this presenter, if AD was presenting and was a bit glitchy, and I could look at their network strength, I'd know that it's them and it's not me, and I think that will just smooth out those little questions that you have along the way. Delayed again. The Files tab in Teams channels is getting renamed Shared. You might recognize this, folks, from group chats. So we used to have files in group chats, didn't we? Then that became Shared, and it's a lot more useful. So I look at this now. You can see that this channel files is going, and you're going to get shared as well. Now, you can still see your files in there. That hasn't changed. It's just getting more useful. This is one of those, I think, is worth you flagging to your colleagues. It's all good, but I think will be a bit jarring if you're like the super user or the IT person or whatever that's called in your organization for your area. I think people come to you and go, my files have disappeared. I think it's worth you heading this off and letting them know. Maybe next month, just start surfacing this to them. And just a quick one. Compact size, the notification size in Teams, you can customize it to make it a bit smaller. So if I look at this now, I can go into the settings, click on the 3 dot dots, go into settings and notifications and activity, and I can already choose my location, can't I? I can move it around my screen. Well, this option here to make it a little bit less intrusive is coming. You can make it compact if you want, folks, and that should be here by the end of the month, but you can already change the location if you haven't done already and you want to. Speaker Coach. Anyone using Speaker Coach in Teams? I know it's quite popular in PowerPoint. If you haven't used it, by the way, folks, if you've got a presentation coming up and you think, I've got the heebie-jeebies about this presentation, it's really important. When you practice it in PowerPoint, turn on your Speaker Coach, and it will talk about your pace, the filler words that you use, is the terminology you're using inclusive. It's a really, really, really great tool. However, obviously not that well used in Teams because Microsoft are getting rid of it, and that will drop out of Teams late August. Okay, I'm going to pause for breath just a second. Vicky, anything in the chat we need to be aware of?
No, nothing new.
Okay. And someone said about the recording, we will share the recording with you. Okay, so and on the recordings, if you didn't attend one of the previous sessions, maybe you'll see in the email you'll be able to access the previous recordings. Because what I talked about last month is still relevant because that's coming out this month. Even 2 months ago, it was always worth you checking out the older ones, because what we talked about 4 weeks ago, 8 weeks ago, those sorts of things are arriving now. So it's always worth checking the older stuff. But let's see what's going on around Microsoft 365. Okay, so this is quite a big one. So just think about how much detail to give on this. So I heard on a podcast, Microsoft, there's a organization in America that challenged Microsoft on its terminology and its messaging around the free version of Copilot work. So Copilot Chat, so the one that's free but will appear at work and is grounded or looks at the internet. So Microsoft made some claims about that, about the free version, and they were called out for it. And I think that might be why they're making this change. So Copilot Chat, the free version of Copilot, is coming to Microsoft 365 apps, even for people who don't have a license. And it's going to appear here, and you can get this side-by-side experience, that you have like you've got a license. So it's coming to Word, Excel, PowerPoint, Outlook, and OneNote. Now, your organization must have Pin Copilot Chat in Microsoft 365 apps turned on. And it might well be that if you've embraced the free version of Copilot, so Copilot Chat, you may well already have that on. I'm not an admin, folks, so forgive me for being a little bit foggy around the admin type stuff, because it's just that's a whole career path, isn't it? So if you've got free version of Copilot work, then you're likely to have this on as well. But don't quote me on that. You need to just check that yourself. But anyway, this is coming due from late June to September. The dates vary because different organizations, not just the different apps, but different organizations have a different upgrade or an upgrade path for their applications, don't they? For Office applications, some are speedy, some are 6 monthly. But folks, I think this is definitely worth you being aware of, especially if you're part of the adoption for Copilot, or you're interested in I don't know, just the rules around your organization. Because look at this. Summarize this document in 3 bullet points, so it does have access to the document that you're looking at. So I think when this comes out, it's definitely worth all of us in this area have a closer look. I personally have quite a few unanswered questions, and I might have to wait until it comes out to get those answered, but make sure that you're aware of that. Okay, so last couple of updates. Microsoft Teams file open preferences. So you might be aware, you can go into settings in Teams, go into files and links, and you can say, if I click a link in Teams, I want it to open in Teams, desktop, or the browser version of that application. Well, other applications like Word, Excel, PowerPoint, if that link is inside that app, they're going to start looking at this setting to decide how to open that link for you, how to open that document for you. So if you haven't set this yet, make sure you go in and set this. Maybe make sure that your colleagues are aware of it. It's a great setting, and our files will open in the way you want them to open. Now, it might be that at work you've got more than one profile inside Edge. And this update is great because it means that if you're opening an external link, instead of it using the last profile that you used, which might not be your work profile or your primary profile, it would always use that previous one, and that might not have access to it, or you might not just want to look at it in that window. When you open links from now on, it's going to look at the profile that's associated with the account you logged onto your computer with. It's always going to use your primary work profile for opening external links. That to me looks like a good thing, and that's due anytime now. And I love Microsoft Lists, but I have never looked at it on a mobile device. And obviously enough people haven't done so either, because that is getting retired as well. Interesting. I see more things being retired in the last maybe 9 months than I have in the last couple of years. Folks, that's going somewhere between September and November. So if you use that, just be aware that is going to go. Okay, so what I'm interested in, folks, just before we start to wrap up, which of these apps do you like? Which of these updates is your favorite? So if I just hop over here, and while I'm closing off, folks, maybe you could tell us which of these updates I've talked about is your favorite. So I'll come back to those in a minute, but for now, I'm just going to start closing off. I want to thank you for coming to this session. I appreciate we're all busy. It's lunchtime. Hopefully, if it is your lunchtime, you had a chance to you had a chance to eat. For our colleagues and our friends in the States, good morning to you. For our friends that are in Australia, so we've got both ends. I hope you've had a pleasant evening. I'm super grateful for you joining and giving up your time to come here. But let us know what you think of the session. Get in touch if we can help you. Make sure you sign up for next month on the join up page. You can select the other months as well. And look out for our series of webinars. We've got a great webinar tomorrow, all about Copilot as well. So maybe go have a look at the website and have a look at that as well. But folks, let's have a look at what we've got over here. So at the moment, we have got, with 38%, easily the most popular update is the countdown timer for Teams and meetings. Folks, we're done. For those of you who need to go, I need to respect your time. It is exactly 12:55, so I finished on time, so I'm glad, as the timer one was your favorite update. Folks, anyone have any questions or comments before we go? If you need to drop off, by the way, folks, feel free to drop off. But anyone got anything? It is that time, we're out time. In that case, I'm just going to thank you. Thank you so much, folks, for joining. Hopefully, we'll see you again next month.
Thank you.
Thanks,
You're very
Mark.
welcome.
Thanks, everyone.
Cheers.
Thank you.
Thanks, everybody.
Thanks, Mark.
You're very welcome.